Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. That's Lower Alabama. I'm Mike Amos. We're coming to you this morning from our studios at Troy Cablevision in Troy, Alabama. We're on South Brundage Street, and we've been coming to you this same time for, since 1998, and we're happy to be with you this morning and glad to be alive and well in Pike County, Alabama, and I say a lot going on. If opening up the picture show is excitement, it should be quite a day. The Pike County Troy Continental Theaters will be opening back up for business on Friday, so that's a good thing to tell you. Of course, fresh popcorn and a great movie, and I don't even know if the movie's out there yet, but hopefully we'll get a call this morning from somebody that can tell us what's going to be the movie this Friday night as we open the studio of the cinemas here in Troy, located on Highway 231 North, and they do a good job, and I know a lot of people, especially those that have girlfriends, they got a place now to take them to the movies. In the past, since the past 3 or 4 months, we haven't had that opportunity, but now we do. Let's see what it says here. Troy's Continental Cinema is getting ready to open again this Friday afternoon, making changes to the theater to meet the social distancing regulations and keep customers safe. Trying to figure out how to go about all this, the movie, again, is being able to give our customers a safe level as well as trying to financially pull it off has been the challenge of Chase Taylor, the owner and operator of Troy Continental Theaters. But it does look good. I'm sure there will be some rules as far as seating goes. We'll be looking at that. And of course, the biggest struggle has been getting going 3 months without revenue. It's got to be tough on that business. And won't be any new movies coming out until July the 10th. So Taylor has a unique, unexpected experience due to hurricanes and then now due to the COVID-19 situation. They've been shut down, and now they'll try to get going again. Bear with them. The movies that you watch will not be as up to date as those that will be coming out on July the 10th. But I'm happy. I tell you, Troy's lucky to have a theater like Troy Cinema that has 5 different movies going on at the same time. And I tell you, a lot of towns our size can't say that. And I'm just proud to be here and proud to know that this is going to be reopened. And just to get a good old box of popcorn is going to be fun. I know at the beach, I go to the movies a lot down there, and again, it's got to be set up the right way, and it will be. And I look forward to Chase Taylor. It's not going to. He's going to do the job and do it right. So that's what we'll be looking at in the near future. Coming down the stretch here, we've got a call coming in. Let's see, from Northwest Florida. Good morning.
Hi, morning.
Where are you calling from in Northwest Florida this morning?
Great Beach, man.
Is the sun out? Has the sun come out yet?
Great Beach, man. Go Gators. Go Seminoles, man.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. What are your school colors?
Go West Florida Argonauts.
Uh-huh.
We're big Argonaut supporters down here.
That's right. They won the national championship. That's probably quicker than anybody's ever done it. What do you think?
Probably since I transitioned to building a football program and going to Division II, I would imagine so.
No question about it. course, Mike, we're getting our theaters open back up. Troy Continental Cinema's coming back out on Friday, and
oh wow, that's interesting. I wonder how that's going to go.
well,
Everybody wears masks.
well, there will be some situations here. I'm sure, on seating and so forth, and we'll address that whenever it comes out. Let's go to our phones. We got one holding. Let's go right here. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
I'm doing good. This is Bill Rice.
Bill Rice Jr.
Yeah.
From Hillcrest. We got a call in from Hillcrest. We got a call in from Beverly Hills and Hollywood, and from Hillcrest, Alabama. Where's that located exactly in Pike County, Hillcrest?
It's in North Pike, North Troy, and it's well named because Hillcrest is hilly.
And y'all have brick streets, is that right?
Well, we've got College Street, which is what would you say that is made of?
I don't know. I believe asphalt. I think, but no, College Street. Look, maybe you're right. It's a little different, and it's been there a long time.
It sets it off and makes it different.
I'd almost call it concrete.
Yeah,
You'd almost call it. Yeah, that's right. Beautiful street, West College Street. No question about it. Let me put you on hold, sir, and we'll be right back. Good morning to you. Uh-oh. Ding, 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 ding. Are you on?
Yeah, you got me.
All right, Rice. Miss Rice, I think. Hopefully he'll call back. Mike Amos calling in from the beautiful Northwest Florida. A lot of people down there?
Man, there's always a lot of people down here. It's just nonstop. I would say every restaurant you go to and every where you go, it's just packed down this way. I don't think it's as bad in Panama City Beach area, from what I hear.
Let me ask this: the Red Bar, are they coming along? Are they fixing to open up? Let me go back and get Rice again. Hold on a second. I'll be right back with you. Okay, let's see here. Okay, that's one. Is that you, Rice, or that Mike Amos?
That's me.
Oh boy, I lost him again. I'll get him in a second. I got to get both of them on the same line. We're coming to you live on Troy Cable Visions, and of course,
I saw Ollie out there yesterday. I was on the beach, just driving out there, seeing what was going on, and they're paving the sidewalks with their brick pavers, and Ollie was out there directing people around, doing this, doing that, and then a friend of my wife's who had done a lot of artwork there over the years was showing pictures of the inside, and I mean, it's just going to be incredible how much it's going to look like the old one. Pretty amazing.
Yeah. A lot of red lights then, is that right?
Well, a lot of posters on the wall, the ceilings, and all kinds of, crazy antique-looking chandeliers and mirrors and all kinds of crazy stuff everywhere, just like the one before. It looks like it's going to be pretty amazing.
Yeah. Want to congratulate Wiley White again. They had a drive-by parade at Wiley's house yesterday, Mike, on the corner of Pine Street and Murphy Streets, and she was out. She heard some things going on, so she goes out there with the dog, and they're having a parade outside of her residence on the corner of Murphy and Pine.
Well, that's great. I've met her, several times in my life. She's a really sweet lady, so.
No question. She's Dr. Jack's oldest daughter, and of course he had another daughter named Jacqueline, and he had sons named Buddy, and another one named Philip, and another one named what's the last Brantley boy's name, Mike? I know him well.
I don't think I realize there's that many.
I know him well, and I can't remember it. I'll get it in a second. Neil. So that was Dr. Jack Brantley's family, and of course, again, Wiley.
Rice, if you're listening, call back in. Maybe we can work the three-way call.
Yeah, that's right. We can have it only two ways. We've looked into it, and we can only have it two ways.
Of course, when Max calls in, we won't be able to have three-way. So
yeah.
He'll be calling in here in about 20 minutes.
And I hope I can get back with Bill Rice Jr. and Want to mention a few other things going on. Here we go.
Alabama just had
All right.
a big signee out of Orlando. I'll tell you about that
All
one.
right,
Get Rice
I'll
on.
put you on hold. Good morning, Rice. We'll get you on. I'm sorry about this.
Okay,
Let
that's
me
fine.
put you on hold. All right, I'm going from one to another. And we'll do it again. That should do it. It does. We got both of you now. Is that right?
Yeah, and I'll drop off from
No,
Mexico.
I know it, but hey, listen, we appreciate you, Bill Rice Jr., calling from Hillcrest, Alabama. I want to give you everybody a report on the COVID-19 cases. Troy or Pike County has soared now to 340 cases now, and with just 2 deaths, thank goodness. But again, it's rising. That was over a 14-day period. Have been 131 confirmed people on the list. So it's
They
growing.
got into nursing homes or assisted living. That's one thing I can think of to have such a huge spike.
Statewide, there are 26,524. The cases in the last yesterday was 630, and that is the total now 7,986 in a 14-day period. That's not good. Butler County of Greenville, man, I don't know what's happened over there. They're now up to 540 confirmed cases, and man, I know.
I tell you what's happened there. That's like the #1 place to stop in, that part of 65 heading to the beach. All these people from all over the country have been stopping over there.
Yeah, well, what, to get peaches or get turkey or what?
People will stop for lunch.
Yeah, that's right. There are a lot of food. You're right. There are a lot of vendors.
Places just, I never realized how many restaurants Greenville had until driving down 65 heading to the beach.
Yeah. Well, it is an interstate.
Hey, Greenville's got a Cracker Barrel. They're better than Troy, man.
Yeah, they've had a Cracker Barrel for a while.
I miss Cracker Barrel from moving from Montgomery and Pike Road.
Yeah. Troy University had announced they have 3 people that are on the ballot for the College Football Hall of Fame. One of them led
the only
Blakey.
person that really has a chance is probably Larry, I would think. I would not think Freddie Thomas would get in. I would not think Al Lucas would get in.
Well, one thing about it, they're on the ballot.
And Larry Blakey won 178 games and went from Division II to 1AA to 1A. That's enough wins to get you in the Hall of Fame, I would say.
No question about it. Rice, tell us what's going with you, man.
Well, there's a little nip in the air.
It sure is a nip in the air. That was my next thing to announce. It is a nip in the air, and if you're going to do anything outdoors, as far as work goes, right now is the time to do it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's right. I cut my grass this weekend, and I got out there at this time. That's the time to do it.
Right. Well, Rice, when are you going to train Jack how to do it, man? Hey, he's only 3. Why not?
He's 4, but he loves it. Yeah, I'm already training him, Mike. I let him do a row or 2, push him with him. He loves it.
Yeah. I've got to mention this.
They're saying 63 degrees in Troy this morning. That's pretty amazing.
It really is.
June 17th. That's incredible.
It is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I want to mention First National Bank of Troy Brundage is honored to have Mary Ramage as the intern at the bank, as she is in the 6th generation of Ramage family to work at First National Bank since its founding in October of 1904. Mary is a recent graduate of Pike Liberal Arts School and will attend the University of Alabama in the fall. Mary's internship began this spring and will continue on to June the 30th. But a beautiful picture in the Messenger this morning of my good friends, John and Jimmy Ramage. Of course, John, the son, has taken over the reign. And, of course, his dad, Jimmy Ramage, longtime bank president and chairman of the board, is pictured there with his granddaughter, beautiful young lady.
And the longtime mayor of Brundage.
Longtime mayor.
At one bank, that is amazing.
I'll tell you right now, I'll tell you right now, if there was any kind of contest or rating out there to rate a person that had done more for their community than any one individual, it had to be Jimmy Ramage. Nobody had done more for his hometown and his constituents than Jimmy Ramage. Nobody loves Brundage, Alabama like Jimmy Ramage Sr. and, of course, the whole Ramage family. But I tell you, Bill, have you been around Jimmy Ramage much?
Yeah, I know him well, know the family well, and I echo what you just said.
He'd get my vote. It's no question. And then,
what happened to you, man? Why don't you get back to your community, man?
Well, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But this guy has nobody has done more for his community than this guy has the city of Brundage. And of course, he bowed out.
He's probably over the Pike County Red Elephant Club, isn't he?
I'm sure he is. He can't help it. But you know, that's just the way he is. I mean, he went to Alabama. He was a manager.
He was a manager for Bear Bryant, wasn't
he? Yeah, manager for Bear Bryant, and but he knew all those great players. He knew Namath personally. You know what I mean? Even though Namath was a...
I think I'm one of the biggest Alabama fans, but I don't beat the images, that's for sure.
Well, Jimmy, I played ball against him. He was a quarterback at Pike County High School on two very good teams, and I had the privilege to go at it on the gridiron with him, but just being around him all these years and just watched what he did, not only as a mayor but also the president of the bank, and just being a great citizen. He loved Pike County High School, and you could probably write a book of unnamed sources of what he's done for his community and what he's done for individuals in that part of the country. He's helped a lot of kids not only get an education but move forward in athletics. I just can't say enough about Jimmy Ramage, president and CEO the chairman of the board of First National Bank of Troy Brundage. And
let's name Jimmy Ramage our TV 52 person of the day.
That's right. It's always fun. Yesterday it was Wiley White, and today it is Jimmy Ramage. We self-proclaimed today Jimmy Ramage Day in Troy, Alabama. And if you want to echo some of the things that I've just said, call this number right there on your screen, 670-0052. We'll start doing this a little bit to recognize people that have been such a huge difference in the growth and prosperity of their community.
And we'll send him a Today in LA T-shirt.
And a Today in LA T-shirt and a glass of water from our favorite folks at Nestle, and a good hot cup of coffee from you know where, Steve Camp, right here. He's giving away coffee free this morning, so come on by and have a cup of coffee.
Hey, when did it become Pike County High School? When y'all were growing up, was it Brundage?
Oh, yeah, it was Brundage High School against Troy. It was Troy against Brundage.
In the early 70s, it became Pike
Yeah,
County?
and let me tell you this, it was a heated rivalry. And that's the way it should be. I mean, if you were from Brundage and you didn't want to beat Troy, you need to go ahead and leave town.
I'll tell you my famous story about
more students there?
What?
Didn't Troy have a lot more students than Brundage?
Well, I mean, Brundage wasn't that small either, but yeah, Charles Simpson was a classification, a couple of classifications different. But hey, Pike County had some great, Brundage had some real good athletes.
You know, I was sports editor of the Messenger when Brundage was in their heyday.
Yeah, that's right.
And I remember I had to do a pick column every week where I picked the winners of high school football games.
Yeah.
And I wrote one. Charles Henderson was playing Brundage, and I predicted that Brundage would win a close game. And I remember after Brundage won a close game, I remember after the game I bumped into Mike Amos, and he said, "Rice, I know you're the editor of the Messenger, the sports editor, but you shouldn't have picked Brundage."
Well, if I'm gonna buy your newspaper, hey, if I'm gonna buy your newspaper, if I'm gonna buy you a newspaper.
That's right.
I mean, we pick against Charles Henderson all the time on the show.
Yeah, I know it. We do.
I tell you,
But don't.
was coming from. That was tough for me as a Charles Henderson graduate to do that, but that's what I thought.
Well, I used to tell them all the time that when a child is born and in fact, if I could reach it, I'd pull out that helmet right now. But at one time when a child was born in Brundage, at the hospital, they would have a Pike County football helmet in his cradle with him.
You know, what always amazed me about those Pike County teams is still the same, is that they would dress about 22, 23 players. I'd say 14 would play in the game. You know, they all played both ways, and, you know, they just, it didn't hurt them at all.
I've said this for years. They might not dress but 22 players, but all of them are players. and of course, they did a great job. But I go way back with Jimmy Ramage and Oscar, the late Oscar, Kyle McDowell, and just all these Henson and Bill Barr. Judge Bill Barr was a good athlete, and I could go on and on and on about some outstanding people that graduated from Pike County. Thomas Henson later on played at Alabama, and he was an outstanding linebacker. And boy, I tell you, probably more than any. I'm gonna get here and not be able to remember some of these folks, but I go back with two. One of the probably the greatest game ever played between these two teams was in 1963 football season. 63. Troy and Charles Henderson battled a very good team from Pike County High School, and it looked like, to my knowledge, Pike County had never beaten Troy in a football game over the years. Of course, Troy, Charles Henderson was a bigger school, but at the same time, lots and lots of pride at Pike County High School, and Alan Rogers was another one of the great ones. And
you know, we talked about a lot of the great Pike County players, and boy, there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
But one we haven't mentioned, you know, ones that went on to play college, was my age, Steve Wilson. Y'all remember him?
Oh yeah, played in
the
secondary.
Quarterback, and then he went to Alabama and was a safety, and played a good bit. But I remember my senior year, I was hurt watching on the sidelines. Steve Wilson was quarterback. Rolled out, scrambled, and took off full speed towards the sidelines, towards me, in the first down marker. And my friend Scott Rainey was the safety for Charles Henderson, and they both took a beeline to the same point, and they hit helmet to helmet, 1 yard away from me. And I still say that's one of the hardest hits I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Scott Rainey and Steve Wilson colliding.
Well, Scott Rainey went on and got his degree from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point.
Wilson played for what, Perkins?
Yeah, he did. He always. I got to know Steve because in the summer he worked for Chapman Oil for my dad, and we worked together.
Okay.
So
what kind of injury did you have your senior year?
I blew out my knee for the second time. Blew it out real bad my junior year, and then I rehabbed and came back and hurt it again. So
you had two ACLs in high school? That's horrible.
Well, the first one was ACL and MCL and cartilage, and then the next year it was just cartilage, but that was enough for me to hang up the cleats.
Let me tell y'all a quick story. You're talking about one of the most dramatic football games in the history between Pike County High School of Brundage and Charles Henderson and Troy. I was a junior, and we had a real good football team. In fact, we only lost one game that year. We were 7-1-2. The only loss came to Dothan, who had a real good team. That game.
You tied 2 games?
Well, no. Let me tell you, the game my junior year, Alan Rogers ran a draw play right up the middle. They ran it with Alan Rogers. He went about 70 yards for a touchdown, and it put Pike County up, I want to say 14 to 12. Yeah, that's right. I want to say 14 to 7 or 14 to 12, something like that. So they go up, and it's 4 minutes left, and we run the kick back, ran a triple reverse back this late in the ball game, and Rusty Gibson took it all the way inside the 10-yard line, and then Sonny Williford ran it in the next play, and we went back ahead of the game, something like 19 to 14, and they get the ball back, and they go inside the 20-yard line again, and they fumble at the end of the ball game inside the 10-yard line, and we were able to hold them off. But that was a great football game, and without that triple reverse, we might have lost our first game ever to Pike County High School. But they had a very good team and very well coached team. Coach Treadwell was a great coach there for many years, and the late great Tombo Brantley, Mike, was a senior on that team, I want to say, and then you had so many good players that came through Brundage, and in fact, after that period in the 60s, Pike County started really producing real good football teams, and the rest is history. They had a player that played at Auburn, Bowden, that played at Auburn, Mike. He was a backup quarterback, and
Who was Alec Bowden?
Yeah, Alec Bowden was a very good player and went to Auburn, and
Randy Walls played, didn't he?
Randy Walls came on and played on the team that Bama punt game. He was the quarterback for Auburn, and they didn't have a chance. But hey, they ended up blocking 2 punts and beating Alabama 17-16. And Randy Walls from Brundage was the quarterback for Auburn that day.
Yeah, he was a great.
Only thing you compare to punt Bama punt is the kick six. As far as the worst feeling you can have is now.
Probably that Bama punt was really hard to take. I'll tell you that.
Don't forget about the Bama punt game is 2 punts, 2 block punts, give Auburn 2 late touchdowns, but I think Auburn also blocked an extra point early in that game to
That's
make
exactly
it 16
right.
instead of 17.
Exactly right. No question about it.
It's hard to believe that Bryant would have just told him literally just to drop kick it. I mean, as soon as he got it.
Well,
or had the quarterback.
Well, let me tell you this.
It's hard to believe that would have happened twice.
The guy was a very good kicker. Everybody will tell you that. But it took him 2 strides to kick it. And Auburn picked up on that. And, nowadays you see any college kicker or high school kicker worth his weight if they take 1 step and kick it. If you take 2 steps, a good team's going to block the kick, and that's exactly what Auburn did.
I mean, Auburn didn't move the ball the whole game, does. I mean, Alabama probably could have gone for it and probably could have kept Auburn out of the end zone, couldn't they?
No way Auburn could have scored.
That's right. I always said...
Taking a knee.
That's right. I would have said if they'd recovered the football right there, Auburn probably wouldn't have scored. But let me tell you this, Mike. The guy that blocked the kick, guess where his hometown was, Mike?
I thought it was Eufaula, wasn't it?
Nope.
I thought it was somebody that was kin to Luke Mitchell.
No, that was another game that won that game. Let me tell you who it was. He was from Fayette, Mike. He was from Fayette. Did you know that? Where all your wife's cousins are from?
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he blocked both kicks.
Same guy blocked it 2 times in a row.
The kick is blocked. The kick is blocked, and Langner is going to pick it up. David Langner is going to pick it up, and Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn is going to win the football game.
Was Alabama in contention for a national championship that year?
Yeah. Exactly. David Langer picks it up. It is blocked by Newton. I think his name was Newton. Hey, and Auburn is going to win the football game. Langner blocked the kick. Newton blocks the kick. And David Langner from Oneonta, Alabama, has picked it up and returned it all the way for a touchdown. Auburn wins, and a lot of dejected fans in the stands. And I sat there for the 30 minutes just wondering where in the world and what in the world happened. I was at the game by myself, Mike. That's how poor I was. I went to the game from Troy all by myself. I was just that poor. No, after the game, I got in my car and I drove to Buck Corley's house. He was recently married, working for Birmingham Bank and Trust. And I just went right. He had guests over his house to eat supper, and I just went in. Just, where did you get that? Where did you get this information? Now it's 16-10. Where did you get that? Where did you get that?
It's called the internet, man.
This is Auburn Day. This is Auburn Day, the day of the block kick. The day of the block kick. Auburn wins. Mike, Auburn's going to win the football game 17-16. Auburn fans cannot believe it. Did Santa Claus come early? Yes, sirree. Santa Claus came early.
Well, I'm glad Mike played that because Alabama had the ball at the 42, and it sounds like the time before they had it at about the 35. So, yeah, if Alabama would have just taken a knee, I don't think Auburn could have driven 35 or 42 yards both times.
Of course.
You think Bear Bryant drank himself to sleep that night?
I don't know, but I tell you what, every night that young man from Brundage goes to bed, Mike, every night he goes to bed or every morning when he wakes up, I was the quarterback that beat Alabama 17-16.
That team was called the Amazons, weren't they?
Yeah, and of course, a young man from Brundage, Alabama. Guess who the running back was back then that was, so cocky, Mike? You know?
The running back for Auburn?
Yeah, the big Auburn, big Alabama guy lives in Birmingham.
Terry Henley.
Yeah, Terry Henley. Terry Henley was a running back, and our buddy from Brundage again, Mike, was a hero, one of the heroes of the game.
That if that guy hadn't blocked it, somebody else would have. But both of those kicks, like the whole Auburn team, was right on.
Again, if you watch the film, he took two long strides. And anybody in today's game would have picked that up, but somebody at Auburn said we can block Coach Jordan. I think we can block a kick.
And he moved up before he took the snap. He moved up a step or two, so he wasn't as far from the line of scrimmage as he should have been.
Yeah. There's somebody calling in. We're gonna come right back to you. I'm gonna put y'all on hold. Let's pick this up. See if they got any questions. Good morning. This is Block Bama Punt Day on today in L.A. How you doing?
Mike, this is Max. How you this
Max Howell. Where was you when Auburn blocked those kicks? Max, can you remember?
Oh, man, I remember the game, but I cannot remember.
Okay. Hold on a second. I'm going to bring Mike Amos and Bill Rice back on. I'll keep you right here, Max. Hold on a second. Well, let's see here. Okay, we got you, Max, and Mike. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm here. Yep.
Okay, Max Howell calling in from Fulton, Mississippi, Max. And what's going on, brother? Are we going to, for the umpteenth time, Max, I know you're tired of hearing it, are we going to have college football?
Well, Mike, I mean, every indication is they're moving in that direction just as fast as they get there. You know, and still the teams are prepared to be on the field. I don't like the term voluntary workouts because ain't nothing volunteer about it. These guys got to be there. They're on scholarship, and, you know, the strength and conditioning folks have got them on the field, got them in the weight room, getting them ready. I think the challenge is what do the fans do?
Yeah.
You know, how does the administration handle the fans in different environments? And I think that's where the big challenge will come over the next 6 weeks.
People get in.
How do you refund everybody their money if you know they're not allowed to go to games as well? You know, or do they decide which games they can go to? I don't know how it works.
They do it. I already talked to some of the folks at Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Over here, they do it a priority. The biggest contributors get they get.
I would think that, yeah.
And then of course if they bypass on that, and I think a lot of it's got to do with the age. You know, those guys that give big bucks, many of them are over 60 or 70 years old, and they'll probably bypass going to the stadium, stay at home because of health problems.
And you know, Max, something could happen that would be devastating to a lot of Alabama and Auburn ticket buyers, is they could lose their
Pride membership,
and they could lose their what do they call when you've been watching the game from the 40-yard line for the last 20 years, 10 years.
They'd lose their seats, yeah.
What is the wording, though?
But I don't think that, Michael, back to the Tide membership, they're going to give their contribution. That has nothing to do with that. It's where they purchase the tickets or not.
Yeah.
You know, it's where they, it's where they do it. And some of them, I promise you, to keep that slot, some of them will up their contribution to reserve their slot even when they take the tickets or not.
You know, some people look at their Alabama Auburn tickets like gold. I mean, they put it in a safety deposit box or something because they don't want to lose their.
Michael, here's one other thing too, though, that's starting to circulate is a disclaimer on that. So where they're willing, I just read a release from the University of Georgia. They've got 85,000 already willing to sign. You know, basically, we release you of any obligation or any responsibility when we come to the game. That is.
Yeah, I mean they're making Ohio State football players sign a waiver. All the football team members are having to sign a waiver to play this year.
True. And guys, when this thing's all over, I think we mentioned that with Will when he was on last week. The guys that said to win in all this is going to be the lawyers, because we know there's going to be lawsuits if they've got some, if people end up with severe health problems or even death.
I tell you right now, if I was any of these teams, I would have disclosures for fans coming in the game and players playing in the game and the folks working the stadium. I'd have some sign go away, saying, hey, I will not
travel at your own risk.
That's right, travel exactly. Travel at your own risk.
You know, the interesting thing will be concessions to me is, I mean, do you just allow like simple things like water? I wouldn't imagine they'll allow food and anything else really throughout those games.
One thing they're going to allow over here is beer. I can tell you that already.
It's what?
Ole Miss had the biggest per capita beer sales in college stadiums in America this past year.
Yeah. Oh God.
Between 40 and 50,000 each ball game.
I mean, one thing, I mean, in Tuscaloosa, though, I mean, as far as just everybody's going to be right on top of each other trying to get into the gates because the metal detectors and checking purses and stuff like that. I wonder how that's going to go about. I guess everybody's just going to have to wear a mask. One thing I can think of.
Yeah, that'll be a.
And if they're checking temperatures as well, I mean, you're talking about you'd have to get in the game. You'd have to be at the game by an hour and a half of kickoff, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think though, from what I've read, they're going to limit the numbers to start with. For example, I just finished an article here about NASCAR coming up this weekend. They're going to allow 30,000 to go to Bristol for the All-Star match this event this weekend. And I've read where Ole Miss in their game with Baylor, they're going to allow 50% in that stadium in Houston, which is only about 36,000 people. So I think that will be the first step. How long that holds up and how they monitor that, I think is still to be decided.
And that lottery is going to be the way they do it, don't you think? They'll, like you said, they'll take care of their big money folks, and then the rest of the folks be on lottery, wouldn't they?
Right. I think that's right. That's probably exactly what they'll do, Mark.
And a guy like you, you can get in any gate in college football, can't you?
Yeah, but I'm just going to stay home and watch it on TV.
Hey, yeah. Exactly right.
You need to at least come down for Troy, NC State.
Well, I know, and that's good. But you remember, I'm 4 hours, 4.5 hour drive each way too.
Yeah, exactly.
See, so if I live close, wouldn't be any doubt about it. So and again, I hadn't ruled it out and traveled to see that ball game yet.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Ole Miss and Baylor will be a good start to the season. Playing on a Sunday now, you got Lane Kiffin going against Dave Aranda. That's a really good offensive-minded coach going against a defensive-minded coach. That will be a good matchup.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to say Baylor's probably got a little bit more talent than Ole Miss right now.
Well, Aranda. Tell me about Aranda, Mike.
You know him. He was the guy that was at LSU. Defense coordinator.
And he's now the head coach at.
Played assistant in America last year.
Yeah, $2.5 million.
Is he at Baylor now? Where is he?
Yeah, he's head coach at Baylor. Matt Rule took the Carolina Panthers job.
I got you. Well, a lot is going on now. Max, another big thing now in college football are camps, and all these schools bring in all these players for camps. What do you do now?
Well, I mean that's that's what they call the volunteer workouts. They allow the coaches can meet with them, but not on the field. Of course, the 20-hour work week is not in because the class is not on campus. The college coaches can meet with them in the classroom, but they can't go on the field with them right now. NCAA in the conference will allow that. I forgot how many days. I think they got 15 or 20 days. They start off. What they're trying to do is make up for the missed time in spring training, particularly for new coaching staffs. And then, of course, they'll merge right into the next 3 to 4 weeks. They'll merge into the regular practice with all the coaches on the field as well.
Want to mention
it's a modified work schedule, guys, everywhere in the country on every campus.
We appreciate.
What about the kids that weren't able to graduate early and start in January? There, I mean, how will that be? So there's a chance those guys could start practicing late July, the 15th of July.
They got staggered. In fact, they even have staggered groups coming in, 4 or 5 days apart to start with.
So that actually might have a kid out of high school play a little bit more than normal if you got that much extra practice time.
You're right, and that I think some of them are looking for that. I think one close big team we're watching right now, I think it's going to be Alabama. I think Matt Jones is penciled in. But they are over here, man. From what I'm getting in our paper, which I'm only about an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, we get a lot of Alabama news, and the kid from California's. They excited about that quarterback as a freshman, and of course they've got a track record of playing freshman quarterbacks and getting a lot out of them.
Yeah, I mean Bryce Young is the real deal. I mean, there's a reason Tallulah to his brother didn't want to compete and transferred.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
That's right. Of course, he can run. This would be a great running combination.
Have you ever seen him throw, though? He can do it all, man. You ever watch his highlights? And he played at the biggest high school in California.
Yeah. He's not real big, though. He's just 5'11", isn't he?
Yeah, 5'11", 190.
Yeah, so not a real big guy. I want to mention Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Truck on the bypass in Troy. They've got record-breaking low-price sales right now going on at Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Trucks. And if you want a deal, believe you me, this is the place to go. They'll beat anybody else's deal, and as they always say, we'll beat anybody's deal at Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep on the bypass in Troy. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since...
We've been doing business the right way for 31 years, and now we've approached a year at the all-new Bill Jackson Ford. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
I would recommend Bill Jackson to friends and family. Environment was just friendly.
It's a short drive from anywhere.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep on the bypass right here in Troy. And like I said, record-breaking low-price sales going on right now. Hey, $199 a month, you can ride a brand new Renegade. Man, listen, they practically giving you cars away now, Max. You need to get you one down here at Premier.
Alabama got a big commitment out of Florida. They got another four-star wide receiver out of Orlando. Christian Leary out of Edgewood High School is a four-star wide receiver. Alabama continues to go to Florida and rack up on receivers. His offers his offer is from Alabama, and he chose Alabama over Auburn in Florida.
Yeah. And we'll watch that closely. You know,
can you imagine the receivers Alabama's got now over the years out of Florida? It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where the speed is, man. You know, you take from Orlando south. I mean, when I was at Florida State, I did after season. That was after the '88 season. I was working on my PhD at that time, and I did a research paper on recruiting in that state. There were over 200 colleges recruit the state of Florida. So you can go across the country and find, some kid, and the skill position kids are where most, it's so funny, the big linemen will come from north of Orlando, Panhandle, all the way over to Jacksonville, and the speed kids come from most schools in the South.
No question about it. Max Howell, of course, ladies and gentlemen, one of the top football prognosticators in the country, or analysts in the country, and we appreciate him coming on our show every Wednesday at this time. And, of course, he's calling from his home in Fulton, Mississippi. Ladies and gentlemen, he's also fixing to put out his brand new cookbook. It's how you can eat 3 wonderful vegetables and a slab of barbecue at the same time.
I may have a possible half shell in there, Mike.
Let me tell you something that I love, Max, that I could eat every meal.
Corn in the microwave?
Yeah, boy, let me tell you something. This corn on cob in the microwave is the thing. You put it in the shuck. You put it in the microwave for 3 minutes and 15 to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. As soon as you take it out of your microwave, you go ahead and just shuck it clean. It just pulls off just perfectly clean, and you're ready to eat. And then it's with hot butter and pepper.
What about the shuck? Will it catch on fire in the microwave?
No, it won't. That's the amazing thing about it. And 315, 330, and you got to let it sit a little bit because it's gonna be pretty hot. But it is tender as it can be. If Auburn ever did anything really good, they won a lot of football games and done a lot of other things. But they came up with a corn match called Silver Queen. You ever heard of it?
Exactly. Oh, absolutely.
You bite into it. Listen, you bite into it. You just bite almost down to the core. It's so tender. It's so tender.
do. The only difference, we talked about this before. I take mine. I do a lot of mine on the grill because I do so much outside.
But I just don't think it's got the flavor that doesn't it lose its moisture a lot grilling it.
I wrap it in tinfoil.
Okay, I got you.
I wrap it in tinfoil, put the butter and the black pepper on it before I wrap it.
Yeah.
And I put it off to the side as I cook the meat and turn it a couple of times, but I get the same result as you do. Mine just takes a little bit longer. And it's,
well, I tell you something I also love, too, is the French dressing with the slaw. I love a finely grated slaw, and this all raw, and put French dressing on it, and that is a wonderful dish. I believe I could eat that slaw every meal.
The sides that we do up here, of course, we do on our coleslaw and all, we do what we call a comeback sauce. That's a Thousand Island base with a cayenne pepper in it.
That is good. A lot of people like that with chicken fingers.
Yeah,
they do. That's very true.
It is really good.
What's a rutabaga? Did you ever grow up eating rutabagas? What does that taste like?
Yeah, that's a turnip. It's a turnip.
Yeah,
it's nothing but a turnip base, is what it is.
Max, I was at my son-in-law's, and he's quite a chef, and people get the wrong idea here now. Correct me if I'm wrong now. He grilled some pork chops, big, thick pork chops, and I said to myself, how long does that have to cook? How long does that have to cook? Well, it didn't cook that long, and when I bit in to it, it was sort of red. The meat was sort of red, and I always thought you had to cook pork longer, but he said no. He said that it's not going to hurt you. What do you think?
That all came through the passed down years ago when meat wasn't cured.
Yeah, that's right.
Today. It been processed. You still had worm. The old wives' tale is that you get worms from pork if it wasn't cooked well enough.
Yeah.
But I think all that's gone by the ways.
But what I'm saying, it cooked pretty good time, but it was still sort of red in some spots. And I said, I've always said, like you said, chicken. I know you cook it pretty thorough, and definitely pork. Isn't that right?
Well, that's the why. And again, it's a psychological thing, Mike.
Yeah.
I got friends you cut into pork is pig. They'll push it to the side. They already eaten it. That comes down just years and years.
But it was delicious. But now let me finish my statement. It was delicious. It was really good. And he said it cooked enough. He said that you shouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, I agree with him. I think once a lot of people use a thermometer, 160 degrees interior. Put that meat thermometer in. They see 160 degrees inside. They'll kill about anything that's out there.
Well, everybody.
The greatest thing you ever introduced me to, Dad, growing up was country-style ribs. I cook country-style ribs every week.
Yeah, I love country-style ribs, and of course it's meaty. It's all meaty.
They're all meat usually. There's a little bit of fat, but for the price, that's the best deal around. You get about 8 or 9 ribs for about $8.
Yeah, that is a good price.
Of course, you eat a lot of steaks now. Now, when you cut your steaks, do you cut a bone-in ribeye or
No, we do the loin. We take the loin and cut them about an inch and a quarter.
Yeah.
We have everyone of them cut. I got a good friend that's got a meat market here, and I do about every 2 weeks. I'll go in and get a couple of loins. We'll cut 10, 15 steaks out of it.
Oh yeah.
And,
do you ever go thicker than you ever go inch and a half? I like my meat thick.
Yeah, but I remember I got a big screw. I got guys with their wives, and the wives, 99% of them, they don't like the big thick cuts.
Yeah,
So I'll kind of hit the medium. I'll cut some inch and a quarter. Some I'll cut 3/4.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. But the key to that is, to me, is a high heat. You sear them first, and then flip them a couple of times, and I marinate them every time I flip them.
Yeah.
I can't stand a piece of dry meat. I don't care what it is.
I'm the same way.
What are you cooking on, a green egg or a gas grill?
No, I got both. I got charcoal and gas both on the outside kitchen.
Okay.
It
You know, if you got time, I would think the charcoal would be the route to go. But if you don't have a lot of time, gosh, those gas grills are nice.
Yeah, the charcoal. The only difference is the uneven heat you got with a charcoal grill. The gas, you cross, and and you're right. Timing is of essence a lot of time. Is the way they go. But the marinade makes the difference when you marinate them. And all my guys we do very simple marinade. They use the Worcestershire black pepper and garlic powder, and we marinate that. Then I use that marinade base. Every time I flip it, I re-wet the steak down.
Yeah.
And that keeps it really moist on the inside.
And it's nothing like coming up is the 4th of July. I want you to hear this. A good slab of a meaty slab of pork. Get a good big meaty slab. And serve it with, of course, I like greens with pork, and I like turnips or
mustard greens.
Mustard greens, yeah. I'm more of a greens.
I'm a collard green guy.
You just get those out of the can, those glory ones, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I like some of that, but to me, greens go good with pork. I don't know why.
No, you gotta have baked beans and slaw.
I know it. I like baked beans and slaw too, but I like greens with pork for some reason.
See, that's a lot of our guys up here, though. We don't try to go a full meal like that, Mike. I think Michael hit it on the head. The baked beans, coleslaw, the garlic bread is all 90% of our sides. They all show up for the meat and the drink.
And a good potato salad, if you know somebody that can do it. Not just anybody can make a good potato salad.
Right.
Well, you need to try my mother-in-law's potato salad. Sandra makes a good one, Doug.
Well, let me ask you this now.
We're gonna have for the 4th. She'll bring down 2 slabs of Dreamland ribs, and we'll just reheat them.
That is good. That is good. But another thing about the potato salad, you have some people use mustard and some people use mayonnaise. Which would you prefer?
Usually we have both. See, I got one of our guys married a German lady that was born and raised in Germany. She makes what she calls the German potato salad. Basically, it's the same. She used the potatoes a little chunkier. A lot of the new potatoes, she'll leave the skin on that as well.
Yeah, I noticed that some people do that.
Yeah, she does both a mustard and a mayonnaise base.
Well, also a very important thing, sweet pickles or kosher pickles. Which would you rather have with your...
All I always do sweet pickles.
I like sweet pickles. And I like to serve it warm. Do you ever serve your potato salad warm?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Same way with banana pudding. I like banana pudding warm.
I don't like eggs in my potato salad.
You don't?
No, I don't.
All right, now see, that's another big difference. Is the pickles and the eggs.
All our guys up here do the boiled eggs in there.
Well, I tell you what, my mother made the wonderful potato salad with the eggs and she used sweet pickles.
Yeah, that's the way I was raised on it.
Yeah.
Most of these guys are rural. I got a rural background, and their taste is pretty consistent. I got 12 guys. There's 12 couples, and they don't all show up every week, but they all pretty well. They got the same background, and their food tastes about the same.
And I know y'all got plenty of...
I can't understand people that don't like sauce. Like, some people eat barbecue with no sauce, and I can't imagine that.
Yeah, well...
Yeah. They just eat the meat.
I tell you what, I had some Cattleman's. I think Cattleman's still makes a real good barbecue sauce. I like the base that Max vinegar base. I like vinegar base.
I got a guy that makes ours kind of homemade, and it's a vinegar base.
Yeah.
Got the ketchup and the garlic, the black pepper.
Yeah.
It's very
my brother-in-law makes the white sauce. Merriman's white sauce. He could sell it. It's the best white barbecue.
Have you ever had good white barbecue sauce, Max?
I've had it, but that is not very popular in Northville.
There's a place in Birmingham near Mount Brook where I lived called Myers, and Miss Myers barbecue is legendary, and they were famous for white sauce, even like back in the late 70s. And now, like all the barbecue places in Birmingham have a white sauce.
Yeah. But
I'll tell you what, Max, if you're going to Birmingham the next time you go to Rodney Scott's Barbecue, the famous barbecue pit master out of South Carolina. He opened a barbecue place in Birmingham. That's the best I've ever had.
Now, Carolina barbecue sauce real sweet, isn't it? Isn't it real sweet?
It's real vinegary.
Yeah.
The next time, guys, I don't when I'll ever go back to Birmingham. It took me an hour and a half to go through.
Hey, it's the most terrible. Hey, I ran into it. I had to be up there in a hurry this weekend. Got caught up in traffic over an hour and a half. We weren't even hardly moving, and we needed to be in there.
From my house to Montgomery, I keep heard me tell that story. My daughter goes to the beach. She lives in Columbia, South Carolina. I always meet them in Montgomery for lunch. A round trip from my house to Montgomery back 9.5 hours Saturday.
Isn't that unreal? Where are you running all the traffic between out of Birmingham? You coming out of Birmingham?
Well, it's coming. Well, where it is coming out of Kentucky and Tennessee.
Yeah.
Going to the beach.
There's so many Tennessee tags down here. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And then all the construction is what was ironic about it, guys. Nobody was working on the highways. I went Saturday morning. Nobody was working on the roads, but they left all the barrels up and had it down some places down to one lane.
Yeah.
I went 26 miles and never got over 5 miles.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, me.
Wow, I thought all that was done in Birmingham.
Yeah, it is not.
Well, see, I always thought, that they improved the drive from Birmingham to Memphis. Now, do you get on that road at one time?
Oh, yeah.
222 is great.
Yeah, I live just off 22. From my house to I-65, it's an hour and 45 minutes.
So that's still the way to go then, isn't it?
No doubt. But now getting from once you hit 65, till you get all the way past, almost to Clanton, at least Verbena.
Yeah, that's right.
It's unbelievable.
But it's really. I tell you what, as bad as you say that is, I think it's worse going to Birmingham from Montgomery. It's terrible that way.
You know how I went back? I went back through Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 82, wasn't it? Is that 82?
I went 82 up, and just outside, I hit 17 north. Went up to Amos, Mississippi, and cut in over my house.
All right, let me tell you this: if you're going to do that, you need to drop by Jim's Barbecue in Maplesville. Boy, it is really good barbecue. Have you ever? It's called Jim's World Famous Barbecue.
I know where that is. I do, Mike. I went through Maplesville with this.
Boy, that is a wonderful barbecue. And a lot of Alabama fans from Montgomery are constantly stopping there to eat barbecue. It's really great.
Yeah, it's your favorite place. You actually will go to an Alabama game and stop there before the game and then stop there on the way back.
If it's still open, I stop by there on the way back. Jim's Barbecue. And, of course, some people call it Maplesville and some people call it, what's the other little community there, Mike?
What, Billingsley?
Billingsley, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's in Atoll County, yeah.
Exactly right. But that's your stomping ground. Do you still have people that live in Prineville, Max?
No, all my family's gone. They're all buried there, but I don't have my sisters. All I have left is my sister, and they live in Pensacola now.
Yeah.
Max, you can live anywhere. How did you settle on Mississippi?
Michael, I'm asked that constantly. The people in this county where I live come as close to being like the folks I was raised with of anywhere I've ever lived. And I've lived everywhere from Memphis, Atlanta, to Tallahassee, all over the South. But the people up here, it's just a different attitude. It's a very rural county. There's 29,000 people here in the county. And it's the biggest town here is 4,000. I live just outside Fulton. And it's right on the interstate. It's right on the waterway. It's just kind of the best of all worlds. Really, and that's the reason I chose to stay here. Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. Max Howell's calling in from Fulton, Mississippi.
If you had to live in a town, what was a better town when you lived in Tallahassee or Pensacola?
Ooh. Actually, I lived in Pensacola. I lived in Destin for 7 or 8 years, I guess.
Boy, Destin, I was over in Destin yesterday, and the traffic in Destin, they've been trying to fix the roads over there for at least 10 years. It is the worst traffic ever.
Everybody...
You're on 280 in Birmingham again.
It's unreal.
Well, during the summer, I had a bicycle, and I'd go to the grocery store on a bike. I lived out at Emerald Bay.
Yeah.
And, I went to back roads and went behind with the golf course and all, over up to the intersection where the mall is, where the grocery stores are.
Dad, have you driven over to Destin to see how much stuff they have, restaurants and just like shopping centers and stuff? I mean,
I'm very familiar with that, but I don't go into Destin though. I usually stay Panama City side of Destin.
Then Niceville and Crestview areas are huge now. You wouldn't believe how much they have grown.
Yeah, you're right. It's a great place to be. No question about it, except for the traffic. The thing about the Panama City traffic is that you're just every other block you can get off the beach route and you get on your
Front Beach Road.
Beach Road.
The only traffic you have really down there is Pier Park. That's when you slow down.
Yeah, that's
where
right.
The outlet malls are.
That's right. No question about it. It's still the best oysters, though, Max. You got to go downtown Panama City to get the best oysters.
And what, Hunt's?
At Hunt's, yeah. Hunt's fried oysters. Hunt fries oysters better than anybody in the country, and they got the best oyster bar than anybody in the country. That's there at right there at the St. Andrews Pier. There, it's really great. But Max, one thing about it, and you've been around cooking and around food all your life, it don't matter how far it is or how inconvenient it might be. If they got good food, you're gonna go.
Exactly right.
I
got to the point too where the service also kept big for me too now. I hate to get in a restaurant and sit there for an hour before somebody comes.
Yeah.
To put your napkins in your place with you, the iced tea. To me, service is almost as important as the taste of the food.
I've been getting a lot of food to go from Mike's Diner there on the bypass, and also from Longhorn Steakhouse. And I'm gonna tell you this: since I started getting it to go, I don't even want to go inside. I prefer it to go. I mean, you wouldn't believe what good service they give you at Longhorn and at Mike's Deli. Mike's Diner.
Some of the changes that we see.
I believe it is too.
I really do believe there's going to be a lot of things like that stay, where more and more people pick up and take it back home.
I was coming from Birmingham Sunday, and I believe it was Sunday. I don't even know what day it is. Halftime now. But we went to Martin's Restaurant. I don't know if you've ever eaten there, Max, in Montgomery. Martin's Restaurant. It's a meat and three. Yeah, it's a meat and three, and they got what you do. You order chicken, and they give you 2 white meat. They give you 2 big old breasts, and then they give you a big helping of string beans and mashed potatoes with gravy, and normally I'll get field peas or I'll get dressing or whatever, and then I get the pickle relish and all that, and the best fried cornbread you'll find anywhere in the country, and then a big piece of coconut pie. Well, I waited in the line on my car there outside, and they were taking your orders. And it might have took me 15, 20 minutes, but I had a feast. I had a feast.
Where do you eat that? You don't go in the restaurant?
No, you take it home with you right now. In fact, they want you to take it home with you right now.
It's right next to Montgomery Country Club.
Yeah, right there next
to in Cloverdale.
I know where that is.
It is a great place to eat. And boy, top it off with their homemade coconut pie. Boy.
Let's name some towns right now. If you're in Tuscaloosa, where would you want to eat?
Dreamland. I used to like the 15th
Street Diner.
Well, that's exactly right. I was going to say the 15th Street Diner, but it was destroyed by the hurricane, wasn't it?
If you're in Birmingham, you'd want to go where? Nickey's
West. I haven't eaten there a long time. I like Nickey's West, but sometimes it doesn't like me.
I've been to Mississippi State. I've been to Starkville. I've been to Ole Miss. What were the restaurants in Oxford and Starkville?
Well, Abner's, and we've been talking about Wiley White, and Wiley Max.
Yeah,
all right.
It wasn't Wiley White.
Yes, it was too. Parker's wife was Wiley.
Abner White was her son.
Yeah,
His son. That's right.
and they own Abner's. How good is Abner's chicken over there?
It's good. Oh, it's very good. Of course, Abner sold all his units just about.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He sold the ones in Oxford first.
Yeah.
He had 2 there, and he sold those.
It's very close to being like Crow's, wouldn't you say? Have you eaten the Crow's chicken in Troy?
Yeah, I have. I think that's about as close as you can get, Mike.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, there's Guthrie's too, but Guthrie's I didn't think was ever as good as Crow's.
Yeah, I think Taylor. I don't know where you've been out in Taylor Road Grocery. But man, they got the best steaks. And
they're in Montgomery. You talking about that in Montgomery?
No, I'm talking about in Oxford.
Oh, in Oxford. Okay.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I've been to the barbecue place near the campus that everybody raves about in Starkville a couple times. I don't think it's that great. What is it, Dewey?
No, Dewey, right. No, I agree with you. I don't think it is either. It is overpriced on top of that.
They've got a restaurant in downtown Statesboro that not Statesboro, but downtown where Mississippi State is. Starkville. What's the name of that? It's a local place that's real good. Kelly's? Is it Kelly's?
Well, they used to have a Harvey's.
Harvey's. That's what it was. Harvey's.
No, I don't think that even exists anymore.
Didn't you think that was pretty good at one time?
Yeah, they had one in Tuscaloosa and in Starkville.
And they got one in Tupelo as well.
Called Harvey's. Yeah, I got you.
Yes.
No question about it.
Yeah, they've got a chain of those. And the food's reasonable. I mean, it is. It's a reasonable price, and the taste's okay. The difference in those kind is they turn the cooks over a lot.
Yeah.
And and I don't care how good the food might be. That individual touch by the chef has a lot to do with it. I'll tell you this.
Andalusia's got a restaurant that I wish we had here in Troy. Years ago we had it. Max, you remember the old days of catfish, all you can eat catfish? The small catfish with the bone in, of course,
Called David's Catfish House.
Hey, buddy, that's a good place too. And you sit down and you pay, say, $15, but it's all you can eat for as long as you can eat. But I love catfish. And I like those small ones. And it really makes for a good meal.
We probably have seen the end of buffets for a long time. I wonder if you'll just have all you can eat, but they'll just bring it out of the kitchen to you from here on out.
Yeah. Of course, Sister's restaurant right here in Troy, Max, I've taken you out here. It's a great place to eat. Great people, too.
I mean, between Sisters and Red Schoolhouse, I don't know if they get any better than those two.
Boy, you're right. Red Schoolhouse. How about this, Max? Red Schoolhouse in Dublin, Alabama, just off of 231, about 10 miles.
I know where that is. Yeah.
Hey, they serve fresh cut corn and fresh picked peas. Peas and corn almost on every one of their buffets in the summertime. It is sliced
mashed potatoes too.
Sliced tomatoes and onions and peas and corn and slimy okra.
You talking about cornbread? My God, their cornbread's unbelievable.
And what they do, they have the flat cornbread, Max, that you like so much. Fried cornbread.
Oh yeah. Michael, when you lived in Birmingham, did you go over to Bessemer to Bright Star?
I went to Bright Star several times. I took a different date at the time over there to Bright Star.
That was Coach Bryant's favorite place to eat. Coach Bryant's favorite place to eat. He'd drive over to Bessemer.
They're known for their grouper throats or snapper throats.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the secret of that, I met their 2 chefs they had the back. Both of them had been at that restaurant each over 40 years. Each one of them.
And
it was great for lunch too. I used to go there for lunch a lot.
It was.
You know what? It's downtown Bessemer, and they were having some problems with break-ins and some other things.
Right.
And then what the guy said? He said, "Well, I'll just send about 6 or 8 armed security people." And now everybody comes from Birmingham, and they don't worry about that restaurant makes sure that everybody is safe.
I think they've been in that same building. They've been in that same building since like 1907.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you see so many, kind of well-to-do people from Birmingham over there for lunch and dinner and stuff like that. But you talking about desserts? They have some of the best desserts I've ever had.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this.
You can't name a restaurant in Birmingham, Max, I haven't been to.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you right now, Martin's restaurant, their coconut pie, especially when it's sort of warm, it hadn't been, I like the pie sort of warm. Oh, boy. And the meringue's 5 or 6 inches tall.
This has been our cooking with Max segment today. No sports, but just cooking.
And they
I bet you don't do this on any other show, Max. Just talk about cooking the whole time.
And I'll tell you something that's not there anymore, but I appreciated it more since it's been gone, is our barbecue place right here on the bypass, Mike.
Country's Barbecue.
Yeah, Country's. Boy, they're French fries. They
Michael, it ain't good as Wilson's. Never will.
Well, Wilson's was real good, no question about it. That was in Troy.
Somebody brought up Wilson's the other day. I met a guy on the beach, him and his wife, and he brought up Wilson's.
Oh, God, yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Maybe it was because really the first time that I got that close to the preparation, how they cooked it,
and you could grab their bread, bread and squeeze it into a ball. And that's what I call fresh bread. when you can grab it and squeeze it into a ball. And then, of course, the camp stew was really good too. And back then at Wilson's, you could order outside meat, which is more of a country burnt meat, or your regular.
Right, that's exactly.
You remember that?
They had it going on for years and years and years.
But now something Country had, the way they cut their French fries, Max, they didn't peel them. They didn't peel the French fries. They cut them, and their French fries were always good, I thought. Didn't you, Mike?
Yeah, I was going.
Oh, yeah, they had hand-cut fries. Yeah, they're hand-cut fries.
And then their barbecue sauce was vinegar-based barbecue sauce, too, I thought was really good.
They had several different sauces, yeah, it was good.
And they're no longer here, and I hate it. I hated that. And, of course, Troy's got another Mexican restaurant. I think that's 4. Troy. People just love Mexican food, Max, and I am not real big on Mexican food. Are you?
Well, yeah, not on a regular basis, but we got half a dozen around here, and we kind of got our routine that when we don't cook as a group, we go out to eat as a group, and we'll jump around. Occasionally we'll hit the Chinese bar and sushi bar occasionally.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's going to be Mexican and traditional.
Yeah, you're right.
Mississippi though is famous for their tamales. That's one thing Mississippi's known for everywhere. Like even. I have to say this, in Mississippi, they have some of the best gas stations that have food anywhere.
You're right. That is absolutely.
Oh, God.
There's one right up the road for me. When I stop and get a tank of gas, I'll go in and get either livers or gizzards.
Well, we've got Sunny South right here in Troy. It's owned by Jimmy Norman, and it's got the best breakfast in town. You can't eat it there, but on their breakfast is a big old slab of pork chops, deep-fried pork chops, Max. And Max, what do you got to? Let me ask you some more questions. On pork chops, you like Worcestershire sauce, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I'm not a big sauce guy.
Yeah.
I used to be. I heard Michael say a while ago he didn't see how a lot of people did eat. I used to, but I weaned myself off of that through the years. When I got to, particularly when I started cooking myself.
Yeah.
To be the sauce, and I was a big ketchup-based guy.
Yeah.
Whatever the sauce is, I wanted that ketchup-based.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well.
But I found out that what that does many times is just cover up the taste of the meat.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got into trying to prepare the meat itself so the taste overshadowed.
If it's marinated well and got a good rub on it, I could probably eat it then. But I like sauces there.
I tell you what, I love a good spaghetti too. I just love spaghetti.
You need to come down here and go eat at Braga then. That's the best pasta place down here.
Well, pasta is delicious, and I could eat it forever. You're right, no question about it. We got away from talking sports today, but Max is big time at cooking dishes and cooking and enjoying it. Max, sometimes they get you carried away with all this food and you don't talk sports.
Well, right now, Mike, the thing that I do, I still get a daily paper. And of course...
that's hard to find now, daily paper.
It is, absolutely is. And I turned to the sports page, and we're starting to get a few more, football stories coming in now. But it got down to where, in our paper up here's got about 80,000 circulation. And basically, it got down to the point where one page of sports, because there wasn't anything going on. But now this morning, there was like 2, and about 2.5, so it'll start coming back. And what that tells me is the marketplace is reacting to what's happening, with the hopefully the virus thing.
Max, I'm interested. I was reading an article some teams will not play a full slate this year in college football. Some will only play maybe their conference games. Some won't play non-conference games, and then some colleges, universities will play their full slate, all 12 games, and then. That's the big question is, if some of these conferences or some of these teams go undefeated in conference play, how do you determine the playoff? If you got teams that are playing 12 games compared to 9 games, that's going to be really interesting to see who's going to be, the 4 teams to play for a national championship.
But see, here's a good one I can identify that with. Ole Miss, let's go back to last spring. Ole Miss only played 17 baseball games. They lost the first one to Louisville, who was number 1 in the country. They won 16 straight. Well, Bianco, the head coach, got Coach of the Year, and Ole Miss ended up number 1 in the country when they shut down baseball. And guess what he got from that? He got a $250,000 raise.
Oh, man.
Wow.
He did. It was in the paper here this morning.
Yeah.
So see, there are ways. I think that example to you. There are ways out there that the media, for example, is going to have to work out, and I take that down to the conference level, and how they're going to weigh out strength of schedule and who they played and where they played. There's going to be a lot of things that's going to have to go into.
Could you possibly see that? Go ahead.
No, I said you had Johnny Williams on a couple of weeks ago. And, John said the bowl games already started, the bowl...
he started have to start selling, you're right.
Right, trying to figure out how to get the, what team...
Yeah,
there's going to be 43 bowl games this year. So, like, going back to what Michael said, what if you got a team that only played 9 games and they 5-4?
Yeah.
They going to get a bowl game?
Exactly.
So, I think there's lots of inquiries is going to have to be addressed.
Yeah, most teams are in a conference now. Notre Dame's not in one, but that's one of the only big schools that's not in one. Why don't you just play a conference schedule and then the bowl games? What do you think about that?
Well, I think there's so many opportunities. Look, the universities have to have the numbers right.
Yeah.
Once you get below that 12-game schedule, every game you take off in the big schools, they lose $4 or $5 million.
Yeah.
So see, they can't. It's a financial thing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you the risk that they're gonna have to deal with versus a financial. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna win. The financial's gonna win.
Yeah. It's gonna win as far as our political races too. That's
before we get off the air, Max. Something really amazing happened with Troy's Carlton Marshall last week. The first time ever in Troy history. I know you coached at Troy. Carlton Marshall is first team Walter Camp All-American at linebacker. That
that's
means
preseason. That's preseason.
Preseason, Trevor Lawrence. All the great players in the country. A Troy linebacker.
Yeah.
Coming off probably one of the worst defensive teams in Troy history last year.
That is true.
Is a first team preseason All-American. That's pretty high praise for this linebacker at Troy.
The whole thing is, I just read a note this morning on Facebook. Larry Blakely's on the list for Hall of Fame at the national level, and I think certainly deservingly so. Even though what we did was turn the program to get to where Larry was able to take it and move it to another level. Certainly the recruiting, the exposure that Troy's got over the past 50 years, for where they have been historically is unprecedented. So I'm proud to see that, but really, Michael, if you think about it, the recruiting level, the teams they beat, I still give Troy the credit for turning LSU's program around to having that undefeated season this past year.
Yeah.
Because that loss to Troy is when Ogeron and that staff, but Pete Jenkins was on that staff, and Pete and I talk about it on a regular basis, is that turned LSU's program around to you that by then they could not overlook anybody, and they had to up their recruiting, and they did that. And you saw
Troy, I mean, people don't realize in that game, they manhandled LSU in that game. Troy should have won by 2 touchdowns.
They should have.
And Chun, the great running back who had 190 yards, didn't fumble twice. They're telling what the score is in that game.
Yeah, they did. But you got to remember,
LSU won 10 games that year.
Yeah, that's right. They did. They didn't beat Troy though, and that was the worst loss for them in their history, I think.
Yeah.
In their modern day history.
And
it should have happened when Neil Brown and Larry Blakeney were there. I mean, how do you lose a 31-3 lead in the third quarter?
Yeah, that's right.
That's going to go down in the history books in Troy history, it's the worst loss in Troy history.
I'll tell you what, live by the past, die by the past.
Live by the spread offense.
Yeah, what I'm saying, you got to run the ball and kill the clock.
Yep, very true.
Max, we're all excited in Troy about the movie theater coming back this weekend, starting on Friday, but they're going to show old movies, and the price is going to be $5 per person. And listen to this, Max. It says the theater also added seating for customers. Wait a minute. They ask you to wear a face mask until you get all the way until you get seated. Isn't that amazing?
You can eat your popcorn.
Yeah, it says here we're just trying to do some things that we are told are the best practices and trying to implement it. People feel safe enough to come back to the theater to enjoy popcorn and the movie.
How many people they gonna let in, Mike?
It doesn't really say that, but
it can only be 50%.
Yeah, and they want you to sit 6 feet away from each other. I just want to throw that up. And of course, Max.
Usually when I'd ever go to the movie theaters, it'd be kind of like during the day or later at night. There'd be nobody in there anyway.
Yeah, and Bud Casey, Max used to buy the popcorn just like he would stop in front, run in there and buy some popcorn and leave. And he loved their popcorn. We've got to go, Max. And again, my friend, we appreciate you so much. And I know you've got a lot of things on your agenda, and you leave it room for us. And we appreciate you very much.
I always enjoy it, guys. Y'all have a good week. We'll talk.
And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed our show today. We're rambling, not a lot of sports to talk about right now, but we hope that you're enjoying what we're doing here, talking about what's going on in sports, but also talking about things that interest you. One of them is your stomach and good food, and we hope that you enjoy that part of the show today. Have a great day. Be careful.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.